Hi, I want to continue the discussion on agentic coding. In the previous video, I had shown this Streamlit app deployed in Hugging Face, where I'd made a bunch of changes using agentic coding, using Roo Code. And this was one of the big commit that we had created. So we'd seen multiple files that we had added, and we also saw how the architecture we had changed. So now I want to show how to learn about Git branching and create a new pull request, and then I'll merge it on my own. So I want to use this as a study tool to help the students understand how Git branching and how to make a pull request. So once again, I open the repository in which I want to add the contribution. So I have this Hugging Face app, which is showing the different distributions. Let's say I want to add another distribution called for the beta distribution, and I want to make a pull request for it. So that is going to be my agentic task for today. So let's create to learn how to make PR, how to use Git branching. So I want to add a file called beta.py corresponding to the beta distribution. Maybe create a branch name appropriately for the task. I have a small bit of typos, but I think it should be okay. So it's again looking through the project structure. It understands the different component. It also wants to read the distribution guide.md, which is typically a good way to make a contribution if there is a contribution guide being made. It wants to now read the normal.py, which is an existing file, and it wants to see the structure and want to mimic in beta.py. It's already figured out that it has to put this in config continuous directory. All right, so firstly, it's importantly told us that it wants to create this new branch, add beta distribution. So let's run this command. It will execute this command, and it's created this file beta.py, which we'll save. Okay, so it's ran into an issue. It won't be able to view the command's output. Please update VS Code and make sure you're using a supported shell. Okay, so I don't exactly know what is the issue here. It does seem that the VS Code, for some reason, the bash isn't showing up. Let me try that again. Open the terminal and see if I can get anything. No, for some reason it seems that the terminal is stuck. Let me just reopen this. Okay, at least the terminal is back. Let's just go to our task and let's resume the task. So I'm not sure that this thing happened, that we were able to create this branch. So let me for now just go on and do this manually. So we've switched to a new branch, feature add distribution, beta distribution, and it's here. And we had created this file beta.py, and now we want to run this command, and we can check this command, and it says that we are on the feature branch which we wanted, which is good, and this file is currently not added, so we can just run this command to add this, And now we can check the status, and we can see that this new file has been staged. So now we'll just commit this, and we can just check the remote repositories also. And it's nicely able to figure out that we have these two different remote repositories, which I'd mentioned in earlier also. One of them is on GitHub, the other is on Hugging Face Spaces. And we can just add this, execute this command, and we want to push a branch. And now, okay, so interestingly, it's also now just giving us the link, which it is showing to directly add to configure the pull request. Let me just paste this and see whether this is pointing to the, okay, not. Okay, so indeed, it has directly given me this request, this URL to the pull request. Otherwise, I could have just gone to the Streamlit demo, and I could have used, sorry, the GitHub web page and looked at this page. And then it is recommending me the other parts of completing the pull request. So this was to open a new pull request, and it's also suggesting to add the description. So let me just paste this also, and let me just create this pull request. And now we can also see that it says there's no conflict with the base branch. So let me just merge it. And so here we can say that we have now merged the feature branch on remote. Now delete the branch locally and ensure we are in sync. So it says that now let's list all the branches to identify the main branch. And if we execute this, it figures out that we have these different branches. We are currently on this branch feature add beta distribution, and the other branch is called main. And then we can do checkout main to go back to the main branch. But of course, when we switch to main, it is clear that we are behind the remote by 2 commits, and therefore it recommends the next to pull from the remote, which is what we have done now. And now we can delete the local feature branch. So if I run this, and now I think it will suggest to perhaps check the status, or just to check the number of branches that we have. If we check the status, it shows that our branch is up to date with the remote, and it is now also recommending to check that the branch has been deleted. So if we do git branch, we only see the main branch. So this was to, and it also wants to check if the remote feature branch still exists or not. And it means it's showing that the remote feature branch still exists, and it recommends that to delete this as well. So let's just delete this branch. And after that, I think if we just do git branch and check on the remote, we see that that specific feature branch has been deleted. So this, I feel, is useful for the people who are trying to learn about git branching to make pull requests, and then we can use this to learn the different commands and the entire workflow and then follow it up with your own PRs.